With a 9-5 record, the Atlanta Falcons head into tomorrow's game with the New Orleans Saints in the thick of the NFL's postseason race. While team owner Arthur Blank has built the Falcons into a championship contender, he has also been the driving force behind the construction of a world-class stadium for the team to play in. But Blank isn't finished with his rebuilding plan. He hopes the stadium will be the catalyst for change for an entire city. Mercedes-Benz Stadium, the $1.5 billion state-of-the-art home to the NFL's Falcons and Major League Soccer's Atlanta United. From its elaborately designed 8-panel retractable roof to its awe-inspiring 1,100-foot halo scoreboard, it may look like a sporting cathedral, but according to the Falcons' president and CEO, Rich McKay, it was built to be more like a community center.
Arthur's theory going in was, let's not look at stadium locations. Let's not go look at where we might put a stadium for the best economics. Let's realize we're going to put the stadium downtown, and we're going to try to put it right in the heart of downtown.
The stadium is bordered by a thriving commercial district to the north and a dilapidated neighborhood to the west. Over the years, everybody has thought or said, build a stadium here. It will bring money to a city. Is that true?
Doesn't work. Not true. What we were saying to people was this stadium can be a catalyst for change. We can bring everybody to the table. We can make an impact on the west side, but it won't just be because we build the building.
Once home to civil rights legends like Martin Luther King Jr. and Julian Bond, Atlanta's historic west side has become one of the poorest neighborhoods in the United States, one that Falcons owner Arthur Blank, a co-founder of the Home Depot, wanted to help rebuild.
When we began designing the stadium, I said, we're going to be committed to the communities nearby, particularly on the west side, which, probably 30 years ago had a population of 55,000 people. It's down to about 10% of that now. All the things you look for in a healthy neighborhood, they had. And then for a variety of reasons, it's gone downhill.
4 years ago, the Arthur M. Blank Family Foundation started dedicating substantial money and resources to the West Side neighborhood. $37 million has already been committed. That has some longtime residents worrying about gentrification. Others think real change still will never come. How much skepticism did you get from a community that obviously had been promised things before?
A lot.
How do you deal with that?
I think in my own case, I had a fair amount of credibility in Atlanta because of my history and the history of our foundation. And I think our early behavior, they could see was different, is that we weren't there to write checks. We were there to understand the issues and then to respond to the issues and respond to them in a way that's really meaningful.
This neighborhood is literally overlooking the stadium behind us.
Mm-hmm. It has some of the best, it really has the best view of the stadium in the city.
Frank Fernandez was part of that response, hired to serve as a community liaison for the foundation's West Side Development Project.
You can see buildings that are abandoned, you have overgrown, you have sidewalks that aren't maintained, you got busted out lights.
Fernandez took us through the West Side neighborhood.
If you are a person who lives in poverty or a child born into poverty in Atlanta, you have only a 4% chance of moving out of poverty to the higher income brackets. And so our commitment is geography should not constitute destiny, right? And so how do we help break that cycle of poverty, and how do we use the stadium as a catalyst for change?
The foundation's answer? Investing in the infrastructure and people. Atlanta's YMCA has relocated its headquarters to the West Side. The foundation has built homes for police officers so they can live in the neighborhood, not just patrol it. And sponsors in the stadium were strongly encouraged to invest in the community as well, like Chick-fil-A.
And they're going to employ 80 people from the community at this store. All of our corporate partners, all 13 of them, have committed to working with us on the West Side and have committed nearly $15 million.
One of the things Frank said to us, it's not going in there and saying, we're fixing this, this place will do this. It's doing it together.
And they have to buy into it. At the end of the day, the answer can't be what we're imposing on them. We want them to say, these two make sense for us and these two don't make sense for us. So we'll do the two that make sense for them.
What's your measurement here? 7'7"?
Like West Side Works, a neighborhood program started by the foundation providing job training in fields like technology, nursing, construction, and culinary arts. According to the group, more than 500 people have already been placed in jobs that have brought in $10.5 million in income. People like Westside resident Tony Thomas, who one day hopes to have her own food truck.
Do you feel like it's changed some attitudes because you're seeing actual changes now?
Yeah, because now people, they have hope now. At first they wasn't having hope. So now you have a lot of people over there having hope.
Thomas works at the West Nest in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, a concession stand operated by fellow graduates. West Nest and concessions throughout the arena offer prices you don't see in most professional sporting facilities, like $5 beers, along with $2 hot dogs and refillable sodas.
Where did that idea come from to just say, let's give people food that's affordable in a stadium?
Number one, I was always annoyed and irritated as a father, having to go to stadiums and events and paying, ridiculous prices for everything in the building. And so I'd hear fans, just people around me, just complaining about it all the time. So I said to our management team, we need to price it every day the same way they would pay any place else they went in the city of Atlanta.
You're a businessman. This sounds like this could also help your bottom line in some
ways.
Well,
I think over time, I think we'll see that. Our volumes are up dramatically what they were. Dana, one of the reasons that we wanted to do this was not just for the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, is that if we can rationalize and show people that it's not only the right things for the fans, but it's the right thing for the business as well. We're hoping that will set an example for other people, not only in Atlanta, but throughout the United States.
Blank says doing the right thing is also at the heart of the West Side Development Project. As for measuring those results...
So when is the West Side a success?
Well, I think it's directionally a success now. You'll see the changes come over time. I mean, my guess over the next, 3, 4, 5 years, you'll continue to see very significant progress in a variety of areas as we move towards long-term solutions. So I'm very optimistic.